Look at that purpose down that straightaway. Yeah, you can just see that's how rough the racetrack is. These teams are trying to seal that.
Hi, this is Ella, and you're listening to Frey. Starting right now. Here's your host, Alfredo Leo.
Thank you, Ella. And as big news coming in the world of NASCAR, as Jimmie Johnson's sweater and baseball cap still have the familiar Lowe's branding while he walked across the garage Friday at Auto Club Speedway. The gear will become collector's items later in the year. When NASCAR visits his home track next season, the 7-time Cup champion will have to wear new threads on his driver's suit. Despite that, Johnson remained publicly confident in his Hendrick Motorsports team and NASCAR's larger future after learning about the impending loss of his longtime sponsor. After backing Johnson since his debut in 2001, Lowe's is leaving Johnson's number 48 Chevrolet, and the decision is reverberating throughout a sport in which brand names are a vital part of the vocabulary. Here is Johnson speaking at the press conference at Auto Club Speedway, speaking about the decision made by his longtime sponsor.
To their marketing efforts, the history we've made in our own sport, the chance I had to even drive a Cup car because of them. I mean, there's just so many levels to it that I'm very, very thankful for and proud of. Of course, wish that we could finish it out together, but that's not the circumstances. But then, to look forward, very optimistic about the future, and myself and our race team have an opportunity we haven't had before, to go out and shop our deal and to see what's out there and what we can do from a branding standpoint for a new company. So, now that the announcement is out, we can get to work on that and see what the future holds for our team.
He's had nothing but warm praise for Lowe's, whose logo and financial backing have been great, as he's had remarkable achievements as the greatest driver of his generation. Former teammate, fellow legend, and now Fox analyst Jeff Gordon reacted about Lowe's leaving the 48 machine on NASCAR Race Hub.
Yeah, I think like so many fans out there, you would like to see it. They truly are a dynasty, right? And that connection to Lowe's has been there the whole time through those 83 wins and the 7 championships. And you just hope that would go all the way until Jimmie decides to stop driving, whenever that may be. But that's not the case. It's a business decision on Lowe's. I think Hendrick's, certainly known over the last couple of years, sort of their realignment and some changes that are going on there internally. So I think now it's about looking forward of, all right, we know this decision's been made, and now it's, hey, here's one of the biggest sports properties that's available out there. Not great timing, never is good timing, I guess, but I think it's going to be interesting to see that now that this is an open door for a new sponsor to come in the sport.
Here is more from Gordon on how much the new sponsor could cost and more.
Well, yeah, obviously, I mean, you have the best people, one of the best teams. So you're talking about top driver, top crew chief, and so on, engineers and everything else. So yeah, it's going to take a big number to. And Hendrick Motorsports also, the way that they do things, it's definitely an expensive sport, and they do it at the highest level. So it's going to be interesting to see what companies are out there that are interested. Are they in the sport already, or is it a new sponsor out there that is looking to get into NASCAR?
Lowe's has also been in the sport since 1995. And a home improvement chain was a beacon of stability in a sport scrambling to adjust to businesses' shifting sponsorship habits. Johnson explained on how that works, especially when a driver is a number of years away from ending his career and more.
Yeah, the post-driving career side is maybe something a corporation would look at. I plan to keep racing. It might not be in NASCAR full-time, but I have many other series and types of cars that I want to race in, and a lifestyle that I want to live, and even doing fitness-related events, mountain bike races, and triathlons and stuff like that. So I'm going to stay active and busy, and there could be a fit for the right lifestyle brand of sorts, maybe, or just a brand in general. That isn't in the forefront of my mind, but marketing today is changed quite a bit, and as much as we all want to think corporations look at a 10, 15, 20-year run for a marketing plan, they really do look year to year. So regardless of how many years I drive, we're however you look at it, it's much in the traditional thought and the way that marketers work. So I don't see that being a big issue at all.
And while Lowe is leaving, Johnson has made it clear that he doesn't intend to leave just yet. Johnson's contract runs with Hendrick through 2020. Here is his statement about continuing to race.
Oh, desire to keep racing is absolutely there. Races, championships, being a part of this great sport of ours. I'm going to be around a while. So excited about that, and just found out recently myself, and we're just going through all the steps now, and of course letting the world know, and it's been great to see the reception that people have had. Of course, fans hate to see a sponsor leave and the relationship end between the two of us, but all the well wishes from fans and and when you look at how long Lowe's has been in the sport, way before the 48 car, they've really been have supported NASCAR through many decades.
When Johnson was asked why he would want to start over with the process of finding and pleasing a new collection of sponsors, he laughed. He mentioned about that and also dismissed the idea that he wants to follow Lowe's out of NASCAR next year and more.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's the eternal optimist that I am. I have more to do, and I enjoy the process. And Hendrick is home, and retirement hasn't been on my mind. And I want to win. I want to win an 8th championship. If you look at Chad's contract, it has nothing to do with Lowe's in where they are. It's been on its own path and its own journey. And just because the sponsor is changing doesn't change his environment. I'm the elder statesman at a company with 3 young guys. If I was to have this be the end, put Hendrick Motorsports in a very awkward position. I don't know. There's just a lot of different ways why I guess I could look at it and say that it'd be the absolute wrong time. But I guess at the end of the day, it's really my desire to compete and to compete at a high level. I'm not done yet.
What a surprise that Lowe's has decided to leave the 48 team and leave NASCAR. I did not see this coming, but also I'm kind of not surprised, especially with a lot of big-time companies that have left the sport over the last couple of years, including Target, the Home Depot, Dollar General, and more. So I'm not really shouldn't be surprised about this, but this does make sense. But it doesn't make a lot of sense either why Lowe's would lead, especially how much success they've had with Jimmie Johnson winning 83 races and 7 championships with the 48. But it's just incredible that this had to happen. Jimmie didn't expect it. I didn't expect it. Chad Knaus didn't expect it. Rick Hendrick probably didn't expect it. But again, even though I was surprised that it happened, but also maybe not surprised as well because of the fact that the sponsorships have been leaving the sport like crazy over the last couple of years. Even though Bush came back, that doesn't mean that more sponsors will be leaving or that. But this could be a great benefit for Jimmie, even though it's not a good thing that Lowe's left. Sponsors will probably be wanting a lot of money to try to pay for the 48, especially with the caliber of Jimmie Johnson. It just goes to show you how incredible of a career he's had, and any company wants to be able to sponsor Johnson, especially the type of driver he is and all the success he's had on the track. And it's just incredible that this had to happen, especially with a long-time relationship like this. I would consider this to be like Lowe's and Johnson together would be like Gordon with DuPont and Dale Earnhardt with GM Goodrich, Richard Petty with STP. When you think of a sponsor, you would associate with that driver. NASCAR nowadays doesn't really have any sponsors that you could think of when it comes to a driver. You can't think of, oh, this guy is this sponsor, and he's this, oh, he drives this car, and it's associated with that sponsor. We don't really get that anymore in NASCAR, unfortunately. It goes to show you probably another reason why sponsors are leaving is because of the popularity draining a little bit, and also because of the fact that a lot of the people are not going to races anymore as much as they used to be. Attendance has been going down, which is why a lot of tracks have been losing dates, such as Auto Club Speedway and others, because of the fact that the popularity has drained. But despite that, sponsors still want to give a chance to come in. And it's just unfortunate that sponsors like Lowe's and the Home Depot and Dollar General and others left because of the fact that some of them don't have the money to be able to afford to pay it anymore, probably because of the fact that a lot of people are not going to races anymore. That's a possibility. And also maybe because they want to be able to do other things besides sponsoring a race car. not that it's bad that they sponsor race cars. Sometimes they want to try something else. But I did not expect Lowe's to do it. I was kind of agree with Jimmy. I was hoping that they would be able to sponsor him until the end of his career, and then maybe they could leave. Kind of like what happened with Pepsi. He left. Pepsi left. They left after Jeff Gordon retired. And AARP, a lot of sponsors leave when certain drivers retire. But I did not expect that to happen with Jimmy before he retired. So it's going to be weird seeing him on the track not rocking the Lowe's colors. But it's not going to be a big of a deal because he said it's a big deal that he's not sponsored by Lowe's anymore. But it's not going to affect his decision to continue racing, as he said he wants to keep racing as long as he can. And he's not ready to retire yet, especially when a reporter asked him if he wanted to retire. They're kind of jokingly. But Johnson is not ready to leave yet. And the thing with Lowe's leaving is not going to sway him either way. Would have been nice if Lowe's was still the sponsor, like he said. I would have wanted that to be the case too. I've never seen a season without the 48 car being sponsored without Lowe's. Kind of like not seeing a season without 24 being sponsored by DuPont or like they switched to Exalta, and then when Jeff retired, everything changed there. But I definitely, it's kind of weird seeing it without the sponsor of Lowe's, because the fact that's been the sponsor for the 48 his entire career, it's just really odd to see him without the Lowe's sponsorship. It's going to be really weird. But it's a new opportunity for a sponsor to possibly come from inside the sport already, or maybe one that hasn't yet been in the sport. But it's going to be different seeing Jimmy without the sponsorship of Lowe's. It's just going to be weird. Will Cobalt stick around too? The Cobalt's part of Lowe's. I would guess not, because all that is Lowe's. So it's just going to be weird seeing him. And the only other driver that would only have a sponsor, like one sponsor for the whole year, coming into next year, would be Denny Hamlin with the FedEx. So not a lot of drivers have one sponsor the whole season anymore. And that's unfortunate, but that's a good thing for other businesses to try to be able to sponsor a car that they probably wouldn't be able to sponsor before because of the fact that it was only one sponsor the whole year. But it's just weird that Lowe's is leaving. It's kind of disappointing in my opinion. I would have liked Lowe's to have still been the sponsor of the 48 car. A lot of people would have. But it is what it is, and what are you going to do? Because of the fact that the 48 is no longer being sponsored by Lowe's, it's just going to be weird seeing that with Hendrick Motorsports, not seeing that car being sponsored by Lowe's. I don't know, maybe, hopefully one day they'll come back when Johnson maybe will end his career, but hopefully they'll come back and sponsor for a couple races. But as of right now, they're not coming back, and it's just a shame how many sponsors have been leaving the sport. And it's just the popularity decreasing and attendance probably affects NASCAR as far as they're not making enough money, and that could play a factor into NASCAR and teams not being able to pay drivers a certain amount of money, organizations not being able to pay sponsors enough money. Like for example, a sponsor wants a certain amount of money, but the team is only willing to give them a certain amount. It's a business. NASCAR is a business, and it's just unfortunate that certain sponsors that are associated with certain drivers have to go. But it is what it is because it's a business. So it's just a shame that has to be the case. But hopefully Lowe's will come back at some point. Probably not, but hopefully they will. We'll see what happens with that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section about the sponsorship of Lowe's leaving and what you guys think, because it's incredible to see like Lowe's leaving like that. It's a shock. It's still like hard to believe that it's not going to be the sponsor anymore, the 48. But that is what it is, like I said. And it should be interesting to see who would be willing to sponsor the 48. Like I said, would it be a sponsor within NASCAR that's already there? Or would it be a sponsor that hasn't been in the sport before that wants to come into the sport that could now get a chance to do it? Now with Lowe's leaving the sponsor as a 48 car for Hendrick Motorsports. So we'll see what happens with that. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like. If you guys are brand new, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
And you would want to slow down because you don't want that tire to come apart.